Will ever be.
All righty. So, hi everybody. Yay. Okay, so Kerry and I are super excited to share with you tonight our first business series, or first class in our business series. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to share our stories, kind of how we got involved in Young Living, how we met, and our business story. And then we're also going to talk about Young Living's mission and how we have aligned with it, and how we all of us can align with Young Living's mission. And then we're going to talk about, Kerry's going to debunk some myths on the MLM business structure. And then we'll end the call by helping you guys dream a little bit. So at the end, we will unmute everybody and open everybody up for questions. Cool? You guys ready? So I think we got some new people on, and people who haven't heard our stories. So I'm kind of excited that you guys are on. And if you guys have heard our stories before, enjoy. You get to hear it again. So Kerry, I don't know if you guys know that Kerry and I actually met when our daughters were in preschool together. So we've been friends for 18 years. So way before Young Living, way before when we were hot messes as a moms. And when our kids graduated preschool, we kind of parted ways because the kids went to different preschools. And I think it was Kerry found me on Facebook, and we bumped into each other, and like this was like 10 years ago, maybe longer than that. And we started chatting, and then we decided that we should get together and like reconnect and get reacquainted and reminisce. And we immediately started to rekindle our friendship, so which is kind of exciting. But while we were talking, we realized that we were both in pretty raunchy places in our life journey. We both had some really low moments in our lives. As you guys know, I'm an autism mom. She's a special needs mom. You know, we just had parallel things happening. And well, as we were talking, I realized that she also had some financial strains, and I shared with her that I was going to a food pantry, which I didn't tell anybody because I was embarrassed to tell anyone that we had resorted to a food pantry. And I was like, come with me. They give out, like, I think they were like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's food. And I'm like, it's like 5:30 or 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Just come and sit with me and get food for you and your girls. And literally we sat in a food pantry for the next 3.5, 4 years, and weekly on Saturdays, just kind of talking and encouraging each other, and like just kind of trying to lift each other up. And we felt so out of place because we were like, we're better than this. Not that people who go to food pantries are bad people, but we had bigger aspirations for ourselves and our family, and just hard luck hit us, you know. As you guys know, you know, Sahara had been diagnosed with autism, and I always say that my family was in a downward spiral when I bumped back into Kerry. They had just recently told us that Sahara, we needed to go home and put our affairs in order, that she would have to be in an institution at some point in her life, and that she would never talk. We were told that she wouldn't have gainful employment or even meaningful relationships, like the social aspect would never be there. And I felt like I got kicked in the gut. And, you know, Kerry and I were sitting, we were just talking about some of the journeys that we were going through. We had financial stress. I was a freaking hot mess. I was overweight. I was stressed. I had kidney stones that were reoccurring, and I firmly believe it's connected to the stress that my lifestyle was under. I was fatigued, and it was bad. I really think that it was rock bottom. And thank God I bumped into her, because I really didn't have any friends at the time. And like, she was the only one that I was really connecting to outside of my little bubble at that time. So I bumped into, well, actually we both attended a women's festival. I invited her. It was Mama Palooza. It was showcasing moms. And I'm like, just come and like get out. Let's just go have fun. And we did. And I met my sponsor, Erin, at that festival. So Kerry was there when I found Young Living, and Erin had suggested that I use oils with Sahara and myself. I thought she was crazy. And I went home and I did a ton of research, because y'all know me, like yeah, need to know. I always say I'm not green, but I think I have more green than I admit to it. But I started researching, and one of the things that I remember is, like, I don't think anyone ever forgets the first time they try oils, because I know for me, like, it blew me away. And we decided to start using them with the kids, and, you know, with Jim and I, and we started getting these unexpected results. And, you know, we felt amazing for the first time in years. And when I got into Young Living, I had zero ambition in sharing, zero. I left talking to Erin feeling hopeful for the first time for my family's situation. But when she brought up the business, I was like, no way, like, I'm a sick autism mom. I don't have time for that. And it wasn't until a year later, well, actually a little bit further, like it was probably fairly, maybe within a month, maybe 2 months, I started, maybe, I don't know how the time frame is, but really, but I started telling Kerry, like, I would come to the food pantry and I would carry my EODR and I kind of slide it towards her. And it was very, like, I was really shy about it. Like, I didn't want her to think I was freaking crazy, but I kept on thinking, oh my God, we've had these results in our house. I know what she's going through with her family. Maybe this could be something that could help her. And I was just very nonchalant about it. And she was like, I'll try it, but don't ever ask me to do a party. Remember? And
Absolutely. I said, don't ever invite me to a meeting.
I did.
I did.
But then, you know, it wasn't, well, so I was sharing on Facebook. Then we didn't have a lot of compliance overseeing us. And I was very open about, hey, we're seeing this, we're doing this. But, you know, but I also share a lot of the things about, you know, you guys know my kids ride horses, you know, we do vocal lessons, you know, that we, you know, try to eat as well as we can. I fail often, but I try. You know, we do a lot of green cleaning to get the harsh chemicals out of our house. So like we've done all this stuff, and then we sandwiched Young Living in between, and we were having these great results. And I'm like, people, listen up, like you need to like check this out and see if this is right for you. And Kerry was one of those people. And we start, like, I jumped in head first. Well, it was like a year into using, so I didn't jump in head first right away. It was a year into using the product where Jim and I sat down and he was like, you need to go back to work. And I'm like, I can't go back to work. Like, the kid doesn't sleep at night, so I can't get her into school. The other kid's up all day. Like, I'm not sleeping. I'd get fired the first week. Like, I could not see past our current situation. But yet I knew that we were drowning financially. I mean, we were like one missed payment away from, you know, repossession and stuff like that. And Kerry and I were passing money back and forth and loaning it to each. I don't know who started the $20, but we were passing it back and forth, helping each other out because we really didn't have a lot back then. And so Jim and I were having this conversation, and he was like, you know, maybe you can make that Young Living thing work then. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, we said we weren't doing the business. And he was like, well, we've tried the product. We love the product. We're already telling people about the product. And he's like, you ought to just try the business. So that's when I jumped in head first. So it was a year after using the product. And I loved it. I started doing classes, you know, 3 times a week. Sometimes it would just be me and Kerry sitting in the library by ourselves. And we were like, we showed up. And, you know, and then other times, like going to Sharon's. Remember that first class we had? I think there was like 12 people in our dining room. Like, so like people started showing up, and we just started sharing, and then they started getting results, and they started sharing, which is why we're here today. And, you know, I feel like it's so effortless for us to share about the product, because we know that we know that we know what the product does. But I also know that given the time and energy, what the business opportunity can do as well. And I think that it's almost like irresponsible for us not to let people know that at least there's an option to do the business. So I'm glad you guys are on the call. I'm glad Kerry trusted me way back 10 years ago when I started to dabble in this oil thing, and we're here now. So Kerry, I'm going to let you tell your perspective of your story.
Okay. All right. Well, and I will forever be grateful that Susan decided to take a risk and open her mouth and risk me thinking that she was crazy, because if she hadn't, I would be dead. And I am not exaggerating in any way, shape, or form. When way back then, when we were sitting in the food pantry, and we would get there at 4:30 in the morning, but it didn't open until 9. We would sit there for 4 or 5 hours. But if you didn't get there early enough, by the time you got called through, all the good food was gone. And we both had children with dietary restrictions. So, I remember just in total despair one day asking Susan, like, what does a good mom do? Like, starve her child or poison them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do, because I can't feed them, Chef Boyardee. I just can't. And so at that point, just to kind of skim over, to hit the highlights, I had 3 children. I had 4 total, but my oldest daughter was already already grown, with an autoimmune disease that, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of autistic similar behaviors. There's a lot of OCD similar behaviors. There's a psychosis piece. And so my children were very sick, but they weren't physically manifesting. It was all kind of brain manifested. And so you get the looks from parents of, your child's having a meltdown, y'all know it, and you're the bad parent. I was fighting. Their dad had taken me back to court to sue me for custody again. It was, and I couldn't work a full-time job because every 2 or 3 days I'd have to go to the school to pick one of them up because they were having a problem. And my life was out of control. My finances, I didn't know where my next dime was coming from some weeks. It was bad. And I don't know how much longer I could have gone on. I was really at the end of my rope. So, there we are in the food pantry, and I saw a change in Susan, and I can't put my finger on what it was. Looking back, I knew something was different. But I was open to, I was praying for anything to just help me out of the situation. Just let me get my girls healthy. Let me pay my rent. Let me, I'm going to tell you one real quick story. I was driving down the road in the middle of a rainstorm, and it was one of those storms where the rain is just sheets and the wind is blowing really hard. And I had rolled my window down, and I couldn't get it back up because it would occasionally get stuck. And so I'm driving down the road in a storm with the rain just coming in, and the entire left side of my body is just soaking wet, and I'm sobbing because I'm like, I went to college. I am 40 years old. I should not be living like this. This is not what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to go to school. I got a good education. I was had a good job. I was supposed to be making it at this point, not driving down the road in a wreck with my kids screaming in the car. This was not what life was supposed to be like for me. It was not what I had dreamed. So then Susan starts talking about this oil thing. And at this point in life, I had done I'd done some direct sales things. I'd done Jafra and Avon. I sold Crystal. I had done Amway. And so I was very kind of jaded to the, direct sales, multi-level marketing kind of systems. And so she said, hey, I'm doing this. And at that point, the basic starter kit was $45. And, or no, it's $35. It was $35. And so she said, well, I need you to buy this wholesale kit, and then I need you to spend $100 a month. And I said, okay, I'm going to trust you, but don't ever ask me to go to a meeting, because I knew Young Living was a multi-level marketing business or setup. And my experience was that I was going to be drugged from meeting to meeting and encouraged to buy a lot of products I didn't need, and all the horror stories that you hear. I had lived them. And so that was our agreement. I would convert money I was already spending into Young Living at the $100 a month to help my friend. And then all of a sudden she stopped needing the $20 that we kept passing back and forth. And I'm like, what? Okay, what's going on here? And that was kind of the start of my journey. Was I just needed a couple $100 extra a month. My gap between what I could make working and my bills was $300 a month. I needed an extra $300 a month. And then I wouldn't have to play I'm not going to pay the light bill game this month. I'm going to pay the phone bill this month. I'm going to pay the light bill this month. And I could stop playing that wheel. I could get off that wheel. And so that my very first goal was $300 a month. That's what I needed. And so that's kind of my story. There's a whole other story about, my wellness story with my kids and getting them to a much healthier place where they're, off the prescription drugs and they're doing well. There's all of that. But the financial story, my financial story, is to me what's had the biggest impact on my life, because I never could have afforded all of the things that we did, both diet and exercise and therapies and counseling and doctor visits and not going to work 9 to 5. I never could have done all of that stuff and all of the oils that helped and all of the supplements that helped. None of that stuff would have happened if I hadn't also been able to make some income while I was doing all of that. So that's my story, or at least the short version for today.
Well, and I think that just triggers a thought that when we went to our platinum retreat, I remember Gary asking, actually it was our platinum because Jim was there, and he asked how many people here, and there was probably 300 people, I'm guessing, I'm not good at that, people in the audience, and he's like, how many of you got into Young Living because of the business? And one hand out of everybody at that retreat went up. And he said that was the first time in 20 years he had asked that question and any hand had gone up. And, we are a product-driven business. And I think if Kerry and I didn't have the product story behind us, we may or may not be here today. You know what I mean? Like, we have you guys are going to see during this series, Kerry and I have very different personalities, but we feel like that married together, like we're going to hit everybody, and I'm going to speak to some of you and she's going to speak to the others. We may say the same thing, just different ways, and it's going to reach you. Okay. But, you know, like,
so if I hurt your feelings, let Susan know. She'll fix it.
and I'll sing Kumbaya with you and we'll be okay. That's so funny. And that's a true story. So, but like, I think now, like there's never been a better time to take control of our future. And I'll just share, you know, my own story with that is in the fall, you know, that I lost my mom unexpectedly. And I was able to take 2 months off without having to worry, because I had put the time in. And not only that, but like I was actively working the business. Okay. And I was able with Kerry to be able to get to, what did we say? Less than 1% of the company.
Yeah.
Less than 1% of the company, you know, but like that was, I'm like, when is a good time to start the business? Now. Like, don't wait until you have an emergency, and don't wait until like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Life is never going to stop.
Yeah.
Your life's never going to stop. It's never going to be, well, what's like, if I just had time, I'd get all the projects done around the house. Because I'm still not getting all the stuff done around the house. Your life's never going to slow down enough that you think you've got all this time to devote. Right. So,
exactly. So, you know, you heard Kerry say that, you know, her goal was $300, right? So like, I don't care. It doesn't matter what your goal is. So it can be just get your product covered, your product covered, right? That's a great first time goal. It could be, you know, to pay down debt or to afford organic food and get out of the food pantry, which was our story, to build a sustainable income. Kerry and I want you to know that it's possible. Young Living wants you to know that it's possible. Gary Young told us to look at every single person on your team as if they're already a diamond, because everybody has that potential, and we need to help them tap into it, which is what our series is about, right? Tapping into your potential and helping you guys believe in yourself. Okay. So we don't want to mislead you. It's going to take time. It's going to take energy. You are going to want to throw the towel in. People are going to annoy you. Like, it's life. It's still a job, and it's still messy, but it's really freaking fun along the way. Okay. It has more ups than it does downs. Okay. So, after this series of classes, we want you're going to have a better understanding of not only how to share Young Living and how to grow, but how to live Young Living. So we're going to incorporate classes along with this. So we're going to rotate a product class with the business classes. And then tonight, Kerry's going to talk a little bit more in a minute about the MLM model to kind of give you guys a better understanding. So when someone says to you, oh, is that a pyramid scheme? Or someone goes, oh, I've done MLMs, kind of like Kerry did to me. You know, like, you'll have a better understanding of how to respond to that with some truth. Okay. But tonight I want to start with talking about Young Living's vision and how we can embrace that. So I don't know if you guys ever read their mission statement. It's kind of, actually, when you tear it apart, it's actually kind of cool. It's to bring Young Living essential oils to every home in the world. We honor our stewardship to champion nature's living energy essential oils by fostering a community of healing and discovery while inspiring individuals to wellness, purpose, and abundance. That's a mouthful. So I am going to tear that apart. Take 5 minutes just to do that. Kind of let you guys know. I'm sure all of you resonate with this, okay? So first of all, it's not a small, bringing essential oils into every single home in the world. Young Living can't do it without us. Like, we are, like, we need to be involved in that. And part of our responsibility is leaving judgment at the door, and maybe right now leaving it at Zoom, because we don't have people coming into our door right now. But we want you to shift your beliefs and start embracing that everybody that you know actually needs Young Living. And whether it's a product, the opportunity, a supplement, maybe a baby, like makeup, like there's something in Young Living's product line for absolutely everybody. So when you start making excuses for other people, I want you to stop yourself, cancel clear that, and open up the possibility that, oh, maybe they can afford it. Maybe they do see the value in what I'm saying, okay? Because every home deserves it, okay? The next statement is, we honor our stewardship to champion nature's living energy essential oils. Okay, so stewardship means taking care of something, okay? And we take care of essential oils. We also take care of the people that we know and that we love. We take care of our teams. And we take care of people that we don't know, right? Or like that we don't already know. So just because you don't know them doesn't mean that we can't serve them, okay? And prior to the stay at home, we were practicing talking to strangers in public because we knew that they deserved to have access to oils as well, okay? So that's where like Young Living is, that's the culture of Young Living. It's about community. And I think that when people feel a part of the community, they stay. And I think that's one of the biggest parts of our team. Our team feels that culture within a culture, if that makes sense, okay? So the next statement says, fostering a community of healing and discovery. I just said that, right? So like, it's us, like showing up to classes, showing up to a training like this, even showing up to the happy hours and having fun events is fostering community of healing, right? Because we know that we are social beings. Like, this is my phrase of the week. I keep on saying this, like, humans are meant to connect with other humans, and we need to do that, okay? And like that, Gary was really good about that. And we need to carry that torch forward. But we also come together to discover healing together. And I think there's power between healing each other, right? With our energy and our thoughts and our love, and just like holding space for someone where Kerry goes, I may step on your toes, but I still love you. And Susan will go soothe, you know, we are all about like, sometimes Kerry steps on my toes, and guess what? It's called tough love. And sometimes when she does that, I need to hear what she has to say. And we're big girls, and we pull up our big girl pants, and I go, thank you for that message. I'll go digest it, and we can come back and have a conversation, because that's what adults do. So if you have challenges with your downline, hit them on straight on. Like, don't avoid them. Like, get it out of the way, okay? The last part is inspiring individuals to wellness, purpose, and abundance. This is how we share Young Living. We inspire people. So it's actually how we inspire the people we know, our families, our friends, our neighbors. Like, we all need wellness. We all need abundance. They all need wellness in their lives, right? We have to take that out and share it. And we need that now more than ever. And I think that, you know, Gary and Mary were brilliant. And I think it was in Jacob's video this morning. Maybe it was on our CDs. Today is like the 2nd year anniversary of Gary's passing, which is interesting that we're having this class. And somebody was saying, you know, in 1996, Gary said, he taught me this. And then Jacob goes, and then he married my mom and started Young Living. You know, so it's been since 1996, right? We can take this information, and it was Mary and Gary who came together, and they're like, how do we get these products out to the mass, to everybody? They knew if they put it in a store or a co-op, the education piece wouldn't be there, and they thought that was a tragedy. And they embraced the MLM model because they knew that we could go educate other people, empower everybody else, and get these products into other homes, all the homes in the world, okay? So Kerry's gonna talk about why they chose MLMs, and maybe not necessarily why they did, but what MLMs actually are, right?
So let's think about the word marketing in multi-level marketing or network marketing, referral marketing as it's sometimes called. What that word actually means is the movement of goods from the manufacturer to the end consumer. So you've got your retail marketing, or at least you did in February. We had retail marketing where we would go to a store and buy what we wanted. And everyone's kind of familiar with that. Then there's, online marketing where you go to a website or you go to Amazon and you buy what you want. So the marketing in network marketing doesn't mean that you're marketing something. It means that you're moving goods from the manufacturer to the end consumer. And that's where all the money comes from the billions that the Waltons have is because they got really good at moving goods from the manufacturer to the end consumer. What happens to your money after you spend it is a whole nother class that I'd love to get into at some point, because what you spend your money on matters. And so that's kind of the marketing that we're used to, or that we really understand. Then there's direct sales. And direct sales is similar to network marketing in that you're still moving a good from a manufacturer to the end consumer. But in a direct sales model, you have like one line of products. You have jewelry or clothing or a makeup line or a skincare line or I'm trying to think of Avon and LuLaRoe. All of those places you have to go buy the product to show people, and you have your parties and you get people to buy your stuff. And after they've bought the stuff, they're done buying the stuff, because how many pairs of pants do you really need? So that's direct sales. And a lot of people get network marketing confused with that, because as a direct salesperson, you can also get a sales force. So you can get people to do the same thing, to buy the products either from you or from the company and directly sell it to other people. Network marketing is similar in that we are still telling people about a product, but I'm not buying a bunch of product and holding it and hoping that I can sell it to somebody. It's almost like a spokesmodel meets Costco. And so you're using your products, you're using Young Living, you're having results, you like these products, they're good, they're effective, they're clean, you trust them. So you're kind of the spokesmodel for it, and you're sharing it with other people. But what you're telling them about is, hey, I've got a store. It's kind of like Costco. You can get all kinds of things at my store. Would you like to be a customer of mine? Just like you had a retail store. Like you wouldn't open up a retail store and then be ashamed to tell your friends you have the store, right? That would be silly. You wouldn't open up a retail store and work 2 hours a week and think you're going to be successful at it. That's also silly. So this model is, I have a store. I'd like you to shop at my store. Now, the best way to shop at my store is just like at Costco. You're going to get a membership, and that's going to give you a wholesale discount that the rest of the people who don't have a membership don't get. That's pretty cool, right? Then after you have your membership and you're doing your shopping, and it's money you're already spending. Like, I hope everyone is using laundry soap and dish soap, and I hope you wash your hair, and you might be wearing makeup. And if you have a baby, I'm pretty sure you're using diaper cream and diaper wipes. I'm pretty sure you're taking a supplement or two along the way. These are products that you're already spending your money on. But if you open up a retail store, are you going to go across the street to Walmart and buy something because it's cheaper over there? No. You're not going to do that. You're going to buy from your own store. So that's your first step. Then you kind of become a spokesmodel and you say, hey, Susan, you buy products, right? Can you take a look at my store? I've got lots of products over here. And so you have the ability to sell a Costco membership, invite other people to also get the same discounts you're getting. And the money comes from the volume of goods that you're moving through your network. So let's say that you have 5 friends who want to go into business with you, and you're going to teach them how to share with 5 of their friends. Now you got 25 people in your group. Actually, you got 30 because you have your 5 plus their 25. And then you're going to take those 25 people and do the same thing. You're going to teach each of those people to share with 5 people, their friends, how to get their membership. So at the end of that, if you just have 5 and you teach 5 and then you help them teach 5, you've got 780 people in your network. Everyone follow that? Yeah. Cool. So if each of those 780 people convert $100 of their spending power into their own stores, because not your store, they have their own stores now, that's $78,000 in volume that you have moved from the manufacturer to the end consumer. If you just get paid 5% of that in that month, that's $3,900. So that's kind of the way that it works. You are going to get a network of people and teach that network, one, about the great products that you have or that Young Living has, and they're going to go place their own orders. You're not calling them up every month and going, hey, you really want another ring, don't you? Or, hey, I know you just bought 5 pairs of pants last month, but I got a quota to meet, because there aren't any quotas. And you just buy what you need when you need it. And that's the beautiful thing about Young Living structure within the multi-level marketing world. I'm not going to go into it tonight, but I also, at some point in this series, maybe next time, we'll talk about the different ways that multi-level marketing companies are structured, and how Young Living is different in that very small market, or small group. Does that make sense to everyone? That you're not selling somebody oils, you are opening up your store to them, inviting them to get their own wholesale membership. And 88% of people will just buy their membership. That's all they're going to do. They're going to buy their membership and use their products that they want. And that's okay. You want those people. If 88% of the people in my group just stopped ordering, I'd be in trouble. If 88% of the people that walked into Costco stopped going into Costco, they'd be in trouble, because you get paid for creating volume. Susan, did I cover everything there?
Yeah, you did. I like that. And I think that, taking it a step further, that everybody that we know at this point probably knows somebody else who is doing oils. So they have the choice of who they're going to have as their sponsor. And I think that that's important because what Kerry's saying is correct, that they have this buying power now, right? But when it comes to the decision of who they're going to enroll with, it is less about like, people don't buy what you sell in the beginning. They're going to buy why you sell it. So I think, you know, we still need to tap into authenticity and building trust in relationships. We are in a relationship business, and it's kind of cool that we can marry together that relationship with that, you know, buying power, right? Um, so I think that when people first come to a class, or they first enroll, or maybe they see you post something on Facebook, they're not going to know why you're doing Young Living. Like, they don't know the mission statement that I just, because all of you were shaking your head when I was talking about the mission statement and I broke it down. Like, you guys got it because you guys have been around a while and have experienced the products. So you get it. You're like, yeah, that's what I want to be a part of. Your new people don't know that. They want to be a part of you. So I've heard something like 90% of being successful in multi-level marketing is the personal development. So like, you have to work on you, because if you are Debbie Downer, if you're prickly, and somebody else over here is Susie Ray of Sunshine, and someone, mutual friend, is deciding who they want to go buy their oils and their laundry detergent from, who do you think they're going to buy it from? Like, we have to be, it's the way that we present ourselves. So people are buying you. Like, I really think that. So we have to build those relationships. We have to build that trust. We have to continue to be authentic, because people will know when you're just showing up to sell a kit, because we don't sell kits, right? We empower our members with buying power, like Kerry said, which I love how she put it. It's beautiful. So we want you to pull out your notebook. Did everybody bring a notebook? Because we are going to do a quick exercise to get you to start developing your story. So when you're sharing, you can be more authentic. So they want to come to your store, your mall, instead of the girl down the street, right? You guys ready? Okay, awesome. All right. So this whole series that Kerry and I are going to be doing is going to be on living Young Living. It's going to be on sharing Young Living and growing Young Living. And I think we both have done a really good job of covering all three of those things today. So I want you to dive into each of those just a little bit more, and what these mean to you. So the first thing that I want you to put in your notebook at the top is write live it with a space or with a hyphen. And then, what does it truly mean to live Young Living? Like, what does it truly mean to you? So I want you to take like a minute and actually write down, what does being the product of the product mean for you guys? Okay, and do it fast so you're not overthinking. Okay, so whatever comes to your mind, jot it down. Okay, so the next thing I want you to write down, so, and you guys can come back and elaborate, and actually we're going to encourage you over the week to come back and elaborate on all of these, but we want you to start thinking about this after hearing everything that we've just shared, like what has it brought up and what has it triggered inside of you. So the next header that you're going to do is share it. So how will sharing these products with others in your family, with your friends, how will this impact their lives? And again, just take a minute to jot those things down. Okay, awesome. So the last one, and I think this is the hardest one of all. Okay, so be prepared. This one is going to be, the header is grow it. Okay, so I want you to think about how it feels, which is different, right? When you impact others and their families, when you impact your own family's lives, how does it feel? So I feel what? Okay, and we're going to discuss this a little bit when we turn off the video. So if you're doing this at home and you're not on the live video, get back with the person who sent you this video to process what you just wrote down so you guys can get a clear vision on where you're going. But for those of you who are live, we're going to do that at the end. So I think, like, if you've been to any of our trainings in the past, you know that we talk about conscious language, and like, we know experts in the field talk about, you know, meditation and visualization isn't just thinking and wishing things into existence. Like, it's getting into the mental state. Even with our prayer, like, we have to feel that moment. We have to feel that experience. And when we can get that energy to turn on, like, that's when we can start creating things, and that's when ideas and thoughts come to us. That's how Kerry and I manifested this series that we do together, because we started to talk about what it would feel like for our team. We're like, we want this for our team, and we started to brainstorm that, and like, that was like in the fall, and you know, this is where we've landed, which is kind of cool. So all great thoughts begin with you guys and within your feelings. How about that? You can quote me on that. Okay, so when we wrap up, here's your homework for this week. Ready? First, we want you to review the answers that you just wrote down, and we want you to build on them. Okay, so we want you to start digging deep, because this, you have to know why you're doing it and where you're going to get there. It's a roadmap. If you don't know, any goal setting expert will tell you you have to write things down to know where to go. And this is the first step in doing that. Okay. The second thing that we want you to do is we want you to talk to 2 people a day. Okay. Remember, I said it was a relationship building business. We don't, people who see our Facebook posts and like, they're not going to go knocking on your door because they saw you screen shooting your PSK and it's on sale. They don't know why they need it. Okay. We need to start building rapport and conversations with people. Like, right now is a great time to do it. Hey, Kerry, how are you doing? You know, are you holding up? How's the girls doing? You know, like, start authentic.
Yeah.
I got an oil for that. Did you see her?
I need an oil for that. Yeah.
Like, start a conversation first without the intent that you're going to enroll them, without the intent of inviting them. The intent is building the relationship and being authentic about it, because if it goes somewhere, fantastic. If it doesn't, that's okay too, right? You got to be okay with that. But use messenger, use text, use phone. like I said earlier, people are craving connection. Like, start those conversations, okay? And then the third thing is that we do want you to start inviting people to classes. So I know a lot of you are already doing that. You know that I have posted in the group my monthly class list, and you can plug into those. Kerry and I will be doing classes on Tuesday nights as well, where we'll be rotating a class like this, business, with an intro. So we're going to rotate oil, CBD, ninja, and thieves. So you'll have another opportunity to plug people in, because this information is great, but it's only as good as far as it goes. And if all you do is listen and you have no action behind the class, you won't build. Like, so this is our accountability of going, you need to go out and share. Young Living is not a quick scheme, what am I looking for, turnkey type thing. You have to show up, you have to do the work. And like Kerry said, only, I don't know if you said this or not, like less than 0.1% of the people ever get to the level where Kerry and I are. But we have put our time in, and we're committed to see it in the long run. And I know I've talked to a lot of you. I know a lot of you are as well. But we need to be realistic and say, you know, maybe not all of us will succeed at it, but we're going to try. We're going to run, and we're going to put action behind the class. So my wish is that we all knock it out of the park. So.
Right. But and I would say, if you're willing to step outside your comfort zone and be uncomfortable, and you're willing to grow in personal development, and unhinge your jaw and talk, you'll be, those are the willing, like, that's what you need to bring to the table. And Susan and I will tell you exactly what you need to do to be successful. And that's our accountability to you, is as long as you are bringing these things to the table and willing to do what we're asking you to do and take those action steps, we will stay with you. We will be on those 1 a.m. phone calls when you're like, I'm quitting. And I'm like, no, you're not. We've all been there. You can do this. We believe in you. Take this next baby step forward. We are there for you. And we will be there for you 5 years from now, 10 years from now. We're committed to this, and we're committed to you guys.
Right. So if you are watching the replay, please go back to the person who sent you this link and talk to them about all of this, and let them be your accountability coach. If it's us, fantastic. If it's someone else, fantastic as well. So thank you, and we will see you later.